Welcome back to another episode of the Pontius Paint Booth, your favorite show on your favorite network, which you can find by going to the corner and clicking like and subscribe to Multi-Murdy Media. That's the channel that you're watching right here on YouTube. You will get this playlist, which is basically, meets all, I wouldn't say your hobby needs, but it certainly meets my hobby needs. And you will also get the video format to my podcast, which at the moment, I'm taking a small break, but I'll be coming back soon. And, excuse me, also the Gutsy Ass Gamer playlist, which is video games and Twitch playthroughs and all that, yada yada yada. Anyways, and if you stay to the end of the episode, you will get the links to my website from multimurdymedia.com and my socials. We're on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. I think that's it. Yeah. Also, at the time of this recording, I got some new business cards. So if you run into me, I might have one on me. I got to start remembering to keep those with me. And let's see, what else? But yeah, go check it out. And also, the website has links to everything, including everywhere you can find the podcast and the model gallery for this show. Just go to the page, scroll down to the bottom to see everything that I have done at the time. Not necessarily when the episodes come out. I go ahead and take pictures like as soon as I can, just so I don't have stuff sitting out and I forget or whatever. Speaking of sitting out, let's go ahead and see what we're working on today, or started on today. Today we are working on the Hobgrot Slittaz. I'm venturing into another game with my models. This time it's Age of Sigmar, which is kind of like the fantasy version of Warhammer 40k. And these guys are part of the newer... Well, okay, so there's like four main factions in the game. There's Chaos, Order, Destruction, and Death. Now, these guys are part of the newest sub-faction of one of the Destruction factions, which Destruction is kind of like it's like orcs and giants and ogres and stuff like that. And then within orcs there are several other sub factions. They're the they're technically bundled together as the orrukwarclans, and the newest one of those is the Kruelboyz, which are basically like they're like swamp orcs, and they also look different. Within the Kruelboyz, and all the orcs have like also like goblins and stuff like that too. So that's what these guys are. These are the Hobgrot Slittaz, and they're called the Slittaz because they run up and slit your ankles or jump up on you and cut your throat, basically. And let's see. Also, yeah, the way the game differs is a little bit because there's three. Like battlefield roles. You have your leaders, your battle line, which are your base troops, which you have to have, and then there's just like the other category. Now these Hobgrots are in the other category, which means that you can't use them to satisfy your basic troop requirement. And I'm assuming, yeah, they're just other. Now, as you can see, I've got 20 dudes here, which is technically a single reinforced squad, because it also works different. You don't go by model. You basically, you pay for a squad of 10. It's like 80 points. And then depending on what you take, like with battle line stuff, you can reinforce like several times, right? I think like 4 times maybe. And each reinforcement is another chunk of that specific many models. But in the case of the Hobgrots, for whatever reason, you can only reinforce them once. So they get... I guess they don't want you taking just like a billion of these guys, right? So, yeah. One squad of Hobgrots is 10. Reinforce once. It's full squad of 20. And I'm going to go ahead and paint these guys all up in this video. But, anyways, here... So, I got... 20 guys. They all have some knives, and they have these grenade things that they throw. Those are the 2 weapons. And then I also have one squad leader, or Hobgrot Alpha, whatever it's called. He's got this sword with like poison and shit dripping off of it, and a hook hand, and a big old spiky helmet. I've got one war banner, or war totem, whatever you want to call it. It's basically just a bunch of metal plates and with the skull on top, and they kind of shake it around and jingle it and all that stuff. Helps the squad. And then I've got two musicians, just because I wanted to go ahead and build both. I got the one with the drum and the horn. Technically, I mean, the bonus is based on just if I have one or not. But it is also legal because for every, 10 guys, I can have a musician and a war banner. So I could have two of these banners in here, but I just don't. Whatever. I also don't really know the rules, so. But this is a legal squad, and I will most likely be finishing up and selling these guys off. Anywho, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to work on... I'll start with them. Actually, you know what? I'll start with the normal guys first. I'll do the command section for last. But first thing I'm going to work on is the skin of these guys. And now, technically, obviously, I can do whatever I want. But in the pictures that they have for these guys, the Hobgrots aren't actually green, like usually you would expect orcs and stuff to be like that. The actual Kruelboy orcs are going to be green. These guys, however, they're more of like a tannish brown type of color, at least in the pictures. So to that end, I'm going to be using the hemp rope color. This will be the perfect color for the skin. So it's going to be a couple layers of that. And they don't really wear a lot of clothes. Like, they have a helmet, maybe a thing on their chest, and then just like some ropes and like a loin and like underwear and stuff like that. So this is going to be the primary color on these guys. I'll go ahead and do a couple coats of this, and then it's probably... I'll go ahead and dig this out right now. And then I'll probably be using Agressive shade to kind of finish off the base color. So let's go ahead and get these guys loaded up, at least one of them. I got a bunch to do. And let's start getting some layers of hemp rope on these dudes. Here we go. Okay. So I got the base color down on 5 of these guys. And this is taking a bit longer than I thought it would. So I will take a quick break for now. So as you can see, we got that nice odd brown color on here. I also included the, one of the musicians, as you can see, and the banner pole dude. So, yeah, I still got 15 more dudes, which I'm going to do, you're going to see me do, but I'm just going to cut for now real quick, and we'll keep going in a moment. Okay, coming back after a little bit of a self-break, working on these guys, but of course it was only a few seconds for you. Now, you'll see down here, down here in the corner, god damn it, morning burps. What was I going to say? Okay, so I was not going to do that. You will see that more of these guys are done. Whenever I left you a little bit ago, I only had 5 of these dudes with the base color. I went ahead and did another 10 off camera just to kind of speed things up because, as you remember from a little bit ago, it was taking a while to get the 2 coats on. So I've got 5 left, including, in this case, the commander, or the Hobgrot Alpha, and I still got the drummer to do, and then 3 more regular guys, and as you can see, this is what the base color looks like, at least as well as it can with this webcam. Someday I will get around to it. So we're going to go ahead and keep going with these last 5 guys, and then we'll kind of wrap up the skin a little bit in a second here. So once again, hemp rope is the base color that we're using. It's going to take a couple coats. Let's go ahead and finish up this base color. Alright, so we finally got the skin color down on these dudes, or at least the base color. So I can put that away, and now what I'm going to do is we're going to start adding some filler detail on these guys, really making them stand out. And what that is going to be, I'm basically just going to go over all the skin and hit them up with some Agressive shade. Just slather it on, get a nice layer or so down, and that's going to really help. If I can stop fucking hiccuping. That's going to pick out like all the muscle detail and stuff like that, and especially in the face and all that. Nothing new. You've seen me do this before. Agressive shade. Here we go. Okay, got some skin work done on these dudes. Here's one of them. So as you can kind of see, the wash is really helping us pick. I wonder if no, that's too close. Yeah, the wash is really helping us pick out. Oh, no, you can't see anything. But the muscle contour lines are really popping out, and of course we got a lot more detail in the face. Again, as usual, this will kind of work better once we once I take the final photos. But the next step, well, right now we're going to let these guys dry off, and then we'll do some dry brushing on the skin to finish that off, and then we can move on to some of the other details. So, and we'll do that real soon. Okay, so our skin, well, we get some of the base stuff of the skin done. The wash is dried, and you can already see the facial details coming out, as well as the muscles and scars and all that fun stuff, and toes and all that. So next thing we're going to do to finish off the skin is, well, I wasn't really able to find an actual lighter color than the hemp rope, so I'm just going to be dry brushing back on the hemp rope color to bring some lightness back into the raised edges. So this will help pick out, you know, around the face and the muscles and scars and all that cool stuff, and like the higher parts of the muscles. So let's go ahead and do that quick. Where is my dry brush? Here we go. We'll do that right now, and then we can move on to more stuff. So here we go. All right. Got their skin kind of done up. It's not really going to show up so much in this camera, but basically what we did is I just put some more of the hemp rope color back in, and that gives me something. That gives me more of the original skin color back, which especially helps around the face. Kind of helps us pick out like the brows and nose and stuff like that, and a little bit of the muscle curves. Let's see, now the next thing, I was going to do is start doing like the armor plates and stuff like that, but I think before I hit that, I actually need to do their pants. And for that, what I've decided I'm going to do with my Kruelboyz faction is their color is going to be blue. going dark sky. And what that means in these guys is, well, they don't really have a lot of fabric, but you can kind of see that they're wearing sort of like loincloth shorts type deal. So those I'm going to do up with dark sky blue. And then also I want to get a start on the bases. So I'm going to put down a layer of oak brown on the bases. And what I'm going to eventually do is it's going to be like a mix of dirt and mud. I've got I've got the right colors for that and the right textures. So blue and brown. Here we go. Okay. Got some little bit of base work done, and we gave their boys some pants. So here's their leader. So you see he's got some blue trunks in the back there. It's kind of hiding underneath all the other shit hanging off their belts. And got a nice layer of dark brown or oak brown on the base. That'll come in handy later. For now, that is it. I gotta go do some errands and stuff like that, so we'll come back soon. And actually, I'll start working on the armor. So, in a moment. Alright, back. Got a little bit more time. So let's see. Last thing we did was we gave them some blue shorts, our Hobgrots, and we added a layer of dirt. So now I'm going to start working on some of the armor plating. that these guys have. And I say armor loosely because, well, they basically have a bunch of metal plates, namely on their chest, on their arms, in some cases, and also, of course, their helmets. Some cases they have a couple plates on the back. And then one that really stands out is, of course, our banner bearer has a set of, hanging plates. Basically, I guess, they're not like fancy or anything. I guess the idea is he just kind of runs around and, shakes them with the totem. Or like a totem or whatever. Anyways, those pieces are going to be done up with bright bronze. That is the brightest bronze that I have. And then I'm going to bust out something that I have not used before. Once I'm done with the bronze, I'm going to hit them with the Citadel's Nihilak Oxide. And what this does is it gives it like, it gives colors like this, or I guess metal colors, like a real rusted, corroded look. Like water corrosion, kind of. Or salt, I guess would be more. But before we do that, we got to do the bright bronze. So let's go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, got some armor color down. Took a little bit. Doesn't help that my back's acting up. Let's see, here's my Grot Alpha. So you can see we got some nice copper plates going on. His helmet, nothing in the back, just on the chest and legs and all that fun stuff. The light's probably, yeah, whatever. So that color's done. Now we're going to go ahead and start adding in the Nihilakh Oxide. And I think I'm just going to go ahead and just give the armor just a full good layer of this stuff because, oof. I mean, they're goblins. They don't take care of their shit. It's all going to be rusted and stuff. So, Oxide, let's get to it. Okay. Got some oxide on our armor, and it makes it look a lot different. It changes the color quite a bit. As you can see now, instead of brass, it's a nice greenish color, but there's still a little bit of, or not brass, bronze. Actually, there's still a little bit of that. I think once this, well, let me, slightly better example is my alpha. You can see as the oxide color dries off, you get some more of the bronze back in there. Actually, what color is this? Bronze, yeah. So then what I'm going to do next, after this dries, we're going to let this sit, is I'm going to go back in and dry brush in with another metal color, probably just metal, just the regular gunmetal. And that'll add even more wear, but it'll also kind of reduce the effects of the oxide color and sort of bring something metal back. It'll make sense, but we're going to let these guys dry, and we'll come back and do that in a minute. Okay, so our grots, we did up some greenish stuff on the armor, or oxidized a bit, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on to some of the other metal elements, and that's going to be done with our gunmetal paint. What this is going to go on is, well, two things. So basically all their knives and these grenade things that they have, they're going to be done up with gunmetal, as well as there are in some cases just like other spikes and stuff like that. Especially like the one on Sarge's helm, and I think there's some chains here and there too, but maybe not. So it's good to get a solid layer of gunmetal. And then also, during this step, I am going to dry brush the gunmetal over the armor, and that is going to kind of highlight the surface, the edges and stuff, especially like the points. So, it's kind of like you can see that their armor plates have like these rivets, and they're usually like 2 or 3. The gunmetal is gonna pick that out for us. So I think I'll start with the dry brushing first, and then go back and do the solid colors, just for ease of knowing what I'm doing. Let's see. Okay, dry brush. Set some guys aside, or all of them aside. Let's get started. Okay. Added some gunmetal to our goblins, or our grots, I should say. So the dry brushing, the dry brushing over the armor plates isn't as prominent, but there is a slight color change, so it's a little bit broken up, a little more realistic looking. And of course, you can see on their knives and these grenade things, we've got the gunmetal going on there, and most of the characters have something strapped to their belts as well. Not characters, but models. Anyways, we're going to let that sit for a while. Actually, I'm starting to pass out here, so I'll stop here for now. I'm going to add some wash onto the metal parts, but I might just do that off camera. Be easier that way. And then that way when we come back, we can do even more details. So, here we go. Are you listening to this show and thinking, man, I'd like to start a podcast, but I don't even know where to start? Well, Buzzsprout has the answers for you. Buzzsprout is a podcast hosting service that provides a number of valuable resources to help you on your podcasting career path. For one, Buzzsprout offers indefinite hosting of all your episodes and allows you to host as much material as you want, depending on the type of subscription that you opt for. Buzzsprout also provides a means for getting your show hosted to every major podcasting platforms such as iTunes, Pandora, Spotify, you name it. In addition, Buzzsprout also provides various means to get your show monetized through various sponsorship and affiliate programs, links to other paid hosting platforms such as Patreon and YouTube, and your own personal newsroom to learn all the tips and tricks for optimizing your podcast for the greatest return on your investment. If you're hearing all this and you're still interested, you can go to my link below and receive an Amazon gift card for starting a podcast hosting subscription that you'll receive on the second billing period of your podcast journey. Everyone has something to share, and there's no time like the present. Join Buzzsprout today. Alright, let's start getting some more work done on our Hobgrots here. So the next thing I want to do is, well, you notice that all of these guys have like a bunch of ropes and stuff kind of hanging off of them, mostly holding up their tool belts, and then also the armor plates that they're wearing. Oh, pardon me. So for those, now let's see. I want to do something different. Okay, I was going to use leather brown, but I feel like this color would blend in a little bit too much with the skin, so I don't really want to do that. Instead, for all the ropes and stuff, I'm going to use stone golem, which is, it's kind of a gray, but it's a little closer to a flesh tone than regular gray, if that makes sense. So that's going to be on the ropes, and then at the same time, I'm also going to work on the tusks that they have, or any teeth and stuff like that, and that's going to be done with Drake's Tooth. It's a regular bone color. I think one of these guys has a skull on his belt. Oh, and of course, the banner has this big old giant skull stuck to the top, so that's of course going to be done with Drake's Tooth as well. I'll start off with the stone golem, since that is the biggest area to do, or not area, but like biggest element, I should say. So make sure I know where my cursor is, get all this stuff set aside. Got my camera already fixed up, or adjusted, I should say. I still need to replace that thing. And here we go. Okay, so this is obviously going to take a little bit. I think I'm going to do the same thing as I did with the skin, and I'll just kind of do some of these off camera and then finish up the last bit, probably with the command modules, like the command group. Although I did, about to sneeze. I did do up the drummer here. So as you can see, I'm glad I went with the stone golem color, because that really helps us pick out like all the ropes and stuff that these Hobgrots stress themselves with. I use that term very loosely. And then of course in this case I gave them I made the fabric of the drum the same color, both in the front and the back. And then this is probably gonna actually I'll make the rim like a wooden color, much like I was going to do. So actually I will keep the leather brown out. Yeah, so I'll let these sit for now because I got other things I need to do. And when we come back, some of these will be done and I will finish them up. Okay, so continuing on with the Hobgrots. As I'd shown you earlier, I'd basically start my damn camera. But anyways, as I was going to say, I sort of did the same thing as whenever I was working on the skin for these dudes. And that is to, well, I did most of them off air, and I kind of ended up having to do the same thing with this stuff. But so as you can see, I added in like some ropes and stuff like that. Or I painted up all the ropes, and that was with, what color was it? Now, stone golem. And then also on some of these guys, I gave them their teeth already, which again, not that I wonder if it's more visible in this camera. Come on, whatever. So anyways, I did 5 on camera, just the ropes and stuff like that. I hadn't done the teeth. And then I just did the rest, except for my 3 command dudes. So what I'm going to do now is get my light going, and we're going to go ahead and I'll finish up the ropes. Stone golem. I'll give them their teeth, which is Drake Tooth. And then that's also going to go on our banner dude, or whatever this would be called, icon. Standard. That's the word I'm looking for. He's got this big skull on top. That's also going to be done with Drake's Tooth. So let's go ahead and finish up these last 3 dudes. Or, well, not finish up, but at least do these details. Starting with Stone Golem. Here we go. Okay. Our command structure for the Hobgrots. I use command loosely, I guess because they're a bunch of little shit goblins. Alright, so we got the bones and we got the ropes done. So now we just have to do a little bit of leather work. Some of these guys have some pouches and stuff like that. So namely our Grot Alpha, he's got a pouch in the back. Our standard bear here, you can kind of see that the skull is mounted on like a small log, and then the two shackles underneath. So now I get to go ahead and search real quick like. Oh, this guy's got the drum. I'll definitely do that up with leather, but just gotta double check all these little grots. No. Oh, here we go. Let's see now. Whatever. Almost, guys. Alright, looks like I found them all. These four are going to have a little bit of leather brown added. So let's go ahead and do that right now. Okay, now we got some leather in, and that's pretty much all of the brown and tan elements that I'm going to do with these guys. So all that's left, speaking of brown, is to add in some Agressive shade, which is of course brown based. That's going to go over all these like the ropes and the bones and teeth and all that shit that we just did. So let's go ahead and get started with that. Awesome. So we got our Agrax done, or as they call it, liquid talent, as you can see. And now it does kind of make the it dulls out the color, or not dulls out, washes out the color of the ropes that we did a bit, the stone golem. So it does kind of blend more together with the model, which isn't necessarily what I want, but I mean, I'm also going for a little bit of realism. And, you know, to be fair, these are goblins, you know, they don't, nothing looks nice. But anyway, here's another good example. Not this guy. Our totem bearer. We did up the skull. All nice, and I'll probably have to do a little bit of dry brushing on that. But we'll let these guys dry off, and we'll come back and we'll do even more details, smaller details now, in a moment. All right, kiddos, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, back to the Hobgrot Slittaz. I say back to because it's been a little bit for me. I took a bit of a painting break for about a month almost, it feels like. But of course, for you guys, it's only been a couple seconds. But what I did do in that few seconds, which seems like for you guys, I went ahead and started doing a little bit of work on the bases on these guys because the theme that I'm going for with the not just the Hobgrots, but all the Kruelboyz orcs as well. They're supposed to be swamp orcs, so of course I'm going to put them in, like, you know, dirt and mud and stuff. To that end, on a few of these guys, namely the command characters or whatever. Oh, and I need something else in here as well. This guy. One thing I did is on some of the bases, you can see I went ahead and attached some little plant bits. And this is from the barbed bracken GW set. I wonder if I have, well, it's behind a bunch of stuff. Because it was a while ago they came out with like 3 scenery boosters or whatever. There's one that's a box of skulls, which of course you've seen me use all over the place. There's this one, which is the barbed bracken, which is basically just like little plants like this. So these are the smallest examples, and then some other models have, yeah, like on my Goblin Alpha, I put a slightly bigger one, and then of course there's also ones that are like a full flowery fern or whatever. And for those, what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint those up with the base color of sick green. That's just going to be the base color. And then they're going to be done up with Quelea green shade. That'll be used to fill in all the cracks and stuff like that. And kind of really bring out like the petals or hooks, I guess, in the case of these plants. Because these are meant to be, they're not like your average leaves. You can see they're like sharp and deadly, like everything in Warhammer, pretty much. And then also what I'm going to do in this next clip is the Alpha's got like all this venom and shit on his sword. So that we're going to start off with a layer of witch brew. And then I'm going to add in some more stuff later. But for now, I'll do the witch brew first real quick. And then the green. And let's probably get some entertainment for myself loaded up. Let's see what it looks like. Here we go. Okay. Got some. Damn it. Get my head down here. Hello. Got some greens done. Give you a better look in a second here. Where's my big guy? Here we go. Yeah, so I got a nice layer of that sick green. And then we added in the Quelea green shade to add some detail into like the stalks and the leaves and such. Now I thought about, I've decided I'm going to leave the, I might leave the toenails alone. Well, we'll see in a minute. So the next thing that I want to do is to get a good head start on one of the bigger elements of the base. And that is by applying Agressive earth, just in little patches around the base. I'm going to start with the guys that didn't have any of the green stuff. That didn't have any of the little swamp plants on the base. And what this does is, well, you apply it on in globs, and then as it dries, it cracks. So it looks like dirt. And so I'm just going to put like little spots on kind of all over the base, maybe like, well, some slightly bigger spots, because the rest of it's going to be mud and stuff like that. But yeah, also this takes a very long time to dry, so that's kind of why I want to do it now. And then it'll dry up and I'll have time to I'll be able to do other stuff, right? So let's go ahead and get some of this Agressive earth onto our bases. Okay, so right off the bat, that's going to be, this is an overnight dry time, by the way. So we're going to take a little break on these guys. I'll kind of show you what I did. Well, it's not a whole lot. I just kind of went in and added some splotches of this brown stuff to the base. It doesn't look like much now. It looks like shit, actually. But like I said, once it dries, it'll crack and it'll start looking more like cracked earth. And then once I come back in with the fill shade, that's when it's really going to start to look nice. Where did I? Here we go. So, going to take a break for now. We'll come back, get some more work done, probably on the bases. I also got to do a little bit of gold. Or not gold, but some bronze stuff. Copper, actually. You'll see what I mean. So, stay tuned, sit tight. Be back in a flash. All right. So, our dirt is now dry. As you can see, there's a nice cracked effect going on in there. That's what we like. So now, let's see. Next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to start off with these guys that have the ferns, the bracken on their bases. And I'm just going to go dry brush over them with a little bit of our scorpion green, or verde escorpena. Oh, that's funny. They called it escorpena green as on the English line, but it's still also kind of Italian. Anyways, so yeah, it's a nice bright green that'll give us some edges around this stuff. And then next thing I'm going to do is with everybody, I'm going to go in with bright bronze. And what this is going to go over is, you'll see, like, for example, this guy, he's got like this armband around his forearm, and then of course a couple of bracelets, and just kind of stuff like that, like trinkets and such. That's all going to be done with our bright bronze. So these two colors are going to take me a little bit, and then we'll kind of go from there. I'll add some more stuff on as we go, but for now, we'll start with the green. Got my dry brush pad out. Get these guys set aside, and yeah, green to bronze, here we go. Alright, wow, nothing like a voice crack to start off the day, even though it's technically the afternoon for me. Almost the evening. But, so as you can see, there we go. We've got a little bit of highlights on the bracken, and the green, and we got some extra details here, and most of these guys have arm bangles, and they're all done up in this nice, what color did I use? Bright bronze, which, as you remember, is the same color, or same base color for the armor before adding on all the corrosion, quote unquote. So now the next thing I want to do is, well, what exactly do I want to do? You know what? I'll go ahead and end off with the next major terrain element, and that is going to be wet ground. This is basically kind of like a mud texture, and what this is going to go on, it's going to be on the base in all the areas that I did not add in the dirt mix, or the cracked earth mix. I'm going to try and get it on nice and thick, because I want to make it look like, you know, thick mud that they're stepping through and stuff. So let's see, I do kind of want to keep these a little bit separated for later. So we'll start with these four that didn't have any bronze bangles on them for their arms, which admittedly I should have painted those sections earlier, but I think I thought they were going to be something different, but just easier making them the same. So let's see, I'm pretty sure. Okay. Oh shit. There we go. I guess I never actually took this thing off. Might be better if I kind of keep it on. But we'll start with a little bit of wet ground I already have on this thing. Where is my big brush? Here we go. And let's go ahead and see what this looks like. Okay, guys. I'll show you my work in a minute here, but that is... Ooh. That was close. Get this nice and sealed up here. Maybe. There we go. We got mud. Nice thick layer of mud. And you may have noticed that I didn't really stay in the lines, so to speak. Which is fine, because well, normally I would with like other terrain stuff. I wouldn't want to spill too much onto the rest of the model, but and with this, you know, they're orcs and goblins, and it's mud. They're trudging through mud. It's gonna get everywhere, so I'm just gonna allow it to be all over the place. Let's see, where's my commander here? Fuck. My alpha. So we got some nice thick layers of mud. And also, it's going to stay kind of wet looking like this, but I am going to go over the whole base with a shade later, especially to help pick out the cracked earth sections, because I usually use earth shade with stuff like that because it'll darken up the cracks so you can see them better. And then also just provide like a little more roughness and detail into the rest of it. And then I might do a little something extra with the mud itself. Although I'll probably just put the shade over the whole thing. But either way, gotta wait for this to dry. So I'm gonna let this sit for a while. And then we'll come back and I should be able to finish up these guys after that. So stick around. Okay, time to get a little bit more work done on the Hobgrots here. As you can see, the mud has dried. It's nice and wet-ish. It's about to change in a little bit, but, you know, what have you. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to do the last work of shades that we need to do. Now, I have these four guys set aside were the ones that didn't have any arm bangles on them. I was about to say bronze, but it was actually... Oh yeah, it was bronze. Alright. Not brass, that's what I was thinking. But, anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do is the ones that do. I'm going to start off with Reikland Flesh Shade. And Well, actually, let's go ahead and see what that looks like, and then we'll go from here. So here we go. Bunch of these small details. And again, Reikland Flesh Shade is the reddish. Or, well, yeah, it's like a reddish-orange base color, as opposed to the Agrax, which is brown. We're going to be using that later. Let's do this for now. All right. So we got a little bit of reddish detail on these bangles. So it'll help kind of stand out. And now, probably wondering what I'm going to do with the earth shade. This color is, well, what I am going to do is I'm basically just going to cover the entire base with earth shade. It's going to go over the mud and the cracks in the dirt. It'll do the most for the dirt because it'll kind of help it stand out. The mud, it will dilute the wetness a little bit, but then I can kind of add stuff in later. Again, so, well, actually, yes, that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to cover the whole base with earth shade with all my guys here. So, pretty straightforward. Just got to make sure the stuff's shook up. And away. Come on. God damn it. Oh, thanks, podcast. Just completely closes out on me. Where'd you go? Actually, this will be fun. Here we go. Okie dokie. Got our bases nice and washed up. Not so much washed out. Now we're going to let this dry for now. Ooh, of course. But got some wash. Yeah, it looks wet still for now, but once it dries, like I said, it'll get less glossy on the mud. But it'll provide a little bit more detail. And like I said, I'm going to brush in a little bit more later. Probably put some green in there. Maybe I haven't decided yet exactly. But more importantly is it gives us more detail in the earth, the cracked earth segments. Because it fills in the cracks with brown. And then also, since it actually darkens this brown paint, or the color that the cracked earth was, it kind of helps blend in a little bit better with the mud. Not entirely, but a little bit better. And so, yeah, we're going to let these guys dry, And then there's just a couple small details left, and then we'll be done with the Hobgrots, finally. So we'll be right back in a moment. Okay, guys, we're almost finally done with the Hobgrots. Now, I did do a little bit of off-camera work. You'll see on the alpha, or I think that's what he's called, Hobgrot Alpha. I got some more green on all this venom shit that's hanging off of his sword. That was just because I had to, because I tried using the Witch Brew paint earlier, and I had to add I added a little dropper ball bearing in there to shake it up and try and get it to work. And it did. It actually was nice and evenly mixed this time. Now, at the same time, I'm also going to use this color. What I want to do is kind of lightly dry brush it over the mud here, actually, and just add like just a little bit of a faint greenish tint to all the bumps and shit, and make it look kind of like a mix of like mud with like acid or plant matter or something along those lines. Make it look unnatural, nice and orky. So we're going to do that first. Let's just go ahead and see what that looks like. Okay, got some greens down in the mud, and it kind of makes it look like there's more like rotting plant matter type of thing going on. Which is fine, because these are just goblins. Who cares? Even if they were just orcs, same deal. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see there's a nice greenish tinge to the mud now. So it's not just brown or whatever. So now there's one last thing that we need to do, and that is to put some color in the eyes. And now, being orcs and goblins, they of course need to look evil. So to that end, we're just going to use straight up pure red. That's going to go into their wee little eyeballs that you can barely see. In some cases, there's a little bit of features. And of course, for this, I'm going to need my detail brush, which is probably needs to be replaced sooner rather than later, but it's still holding up. And I got something new to help me out this time. I now have, oh yeah, magnifying goggles, or glasses, I mean. And let's see, I think I figured out. Yeah, that's the right one. Hehe, I look like a jeweler now. So this is the second level. Second smallest level of magnification, which means I can hold it about here, and it's as if I'm holding it here. Yeah, so that's about where I want to be. I do have some that are even thicker, but that'd be way too thick. And I'm not looking at anything that's small, so. Alright, pure red, eyeballs, here we go. All right. Turn this light off. That is... The Hobgrots are all done. Got some eyeballs on these guys. I put out entirely too much red paint. Sometimes you waste without wanting. But don't need these anymore. Let's get our zoom glasses put away. This thing came with a set of 5 lenses, which is nice. And this guy folds up. So let's see. There were a couple. Where's it? There's one that was a really good example. Let me see. Here we go. There we go. Actually, let me. Yeah, damn, it's even hard to see with the light. And with the focus. I still got to get another webcam. But, anywho, that's it. The Hobgrots are finally done. I say finally because, I mean, obviously for you it's only been like, what, 40 minutes or something like that. But for me, I've had these guys on my desk for about a month. More, actually. And they're only the first of the Kruelboyz starter set that I got. I still got all the rest of it to go. But, Hobgrot Slittaz. Let's come back up to me. Oh, yeah. So, once again, this has been an episode of Poncho's Paint Booth, your favorite show. And if it's not your favorite show, once again, check out my YouTube channel, Multi-Murdy Media. Might have some of the other favorite shows. At least this will be your favorite channel, right? So we did have some Hobgrots here on this channel. But if you want different content, go check out the Gutsy Ass Gamer. That is my video games and Twitch playthrough. I'm currently going through Assassin's Creed Odyssey with everything, which I've never played with all the DLC. So there's a lot of new stuff to me there too, and some not so much. Or Jankety Ass Podcast, which I'm finally going to be coming out with some new episodes here pretty soon. I switched it up to a monthly format as well. So they're going to be like a little bit bigger, ideally, maybe not, but different. And then, of course, also check out Multi-Murdy Media on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and the website.com, where you have links to everything, as well as the model gallery for everything that I've done here on the show. Well, most stuff, except for like the small commission stuff. And also some works that I did before I even decided to make my own show. And of course, the links are also at the end of the show and down in the episode description here below. And I got more coming, so stay tuned. Stay here for some more. Let's get this out of here. More videos coming up soon, every week.